Take a look at this. This is one of the earliest known uses of computer-generated 3D animation from 1972. It looks terrible. I feel like I'm looking at a CAD model of a sex doll. 3D animation at this time was just too slow and janky to be considered a feasible form of long-term animation, and yet some saw promise in this. As the years passed and the technology developed, some dedicated themselves to mastering the techniques of computer animating in 3D. And over time, the models and the animations got better and more realistic and smoother and cleaner until finally, technology and know-how came together to create the first ever 3D animated film. From this point on, 3D animation was being used as a medium to tell some of the greatest stories of our time, bringing the wildest thoughts of the imagination to life in increasingly stunning detail, with each succeeding movie taking us closer and closer to the mastery of the medium until finally, our triumphant strides brought us Delgo!
Delgo.
Delgo? Delgo?
What the fuck?
I am literally at a loss for words with this movie. I genuinely cannot think of any words to describe this film. Lucky for us, Wikipedia managed to come up with 10. Delgo is a 2008 American computer-animated adventure science fiction romantic Jesus Christ, what wasn't this movie? Good, maybe.
Let me out of here! Let me out of here! Let me out of here!
Is this really happening?
I know I have a habit of editing Wikipedia articles and YouTube comments for a joke or to make you guys think that YouTuber James Miller wanted to achieve singularity with Cortana, but I swear to God, this is just how the Wikipedia page describes the film. Some minor facts include that it was directed by Mark Adler, was produced by Fathom Studios, and had a budget of $40 million. It lost $46 million. How do you even do that? How do you lose more money than you put in the first place? Also, apparently Delgo is notable for producing one of the worst openings for a movie playing in 2,000 theaters, averaging 2 viewers per screening. Well, what can I say? It was the perfect date night. Just you, the love of your life, and whoever you brought along with you on the date. But the question remains, was the movie as bad as its performance suggests? Kinda. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying the movie's good, because it's not. Like, at all.
This feels like a PS3 demo trailer to show what the console could do.
The movie is genuinely hard to watch. Not like when you were 6 and you had to fast forward through that scene in Scooby-Doo 2 Monsters Unleashed where Shaggy and Scooby get caught pretending to be bad guys at the bar because it's too cringy hard to watch. I mean, this movie is just straight up difficult to look at. The animation's all janky and the characters are... Oh! Dude, I don't even know what the fucking characters are. Some of them are like weird Land Before Time humanoids, and others look like a post-Pepsi Fire Michael Jackson if he were a Who in the live-action Grinch. The movie's obviously going for this sci-fi fantasy adventure feel, so the creatures and stuff need to feel foreign, but this...
What?
This is just too much.
Drop it!
Oh, our hero's threatening a child. Nice.
You know how when you were a kid and you first saw Harry Potter or The Lord of the Rings and you immediately wanted to be a part of that universe? Yeah, you don't feel that with Delgo. There is nothing likable about this universe. It is so incredibly incomprehensible. Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings work because they incorporate enough fantasy stuff to be interesting, but also have enough real-life stuff that the world feels familiar so you can envision yourself being there. The familiar stuff comforts and eases you in, while the new and exciting fantasy stuff pulls you in deeper. Delgo says fuck that and just throws you into the deep end, and then starts holding your head underwater, and tries to sit on you at the bottom of the pool. The point is, there is nothing familiar in this movie. Throughout the entire runtime, I think there was like one tree.
Oh my god!
I can't even relate to our protagonist because I'm still trying to figure out if he's more troglodyte than human. Our main character looks like Franklin the Turtle and Jeff Bezos had a one-night stand with a Star Wars Deep Lore character that ended in a falling out. I assume this falling out was pretty traumatic and affected Delgo's development considering the fact that he dresses like a toddler. Why the vest? Why the hammers? Why a lot of things? I'm especially fond of the fact that he buckles his vest together like a backpack, like that one kid from 4th grade who would sprint home after school. A good character design is one where you can look at just the silhouette from any angle and know exactly who the character is. Can you even tell which one Delgo is? If you said yes, fuck you, because none of these are Delgo. God.
They're like one-upping themselves on how bad they can make a creature look. Oh, they get worse.
These designs are so atrocious, it makes you wonder what the producers spent those 10 years working on, which, by the way, I probably forgot to mention. They started working on this movie in 1999. Jesus Christ. This movie so far has failed at creating engaging fantasy and good character design, two cornerstones of the fantasy and animated genres that it's clearly trying so hard to be. And we haven't even covered the plot yet. I already feel like I'm losing my mind, so let's just let the Wikipedia page do the talking. After having left their own world due to a loss of natural resources, the winged humanoid Norrens settle on Jamora with the permission of the ground-dwelling Lochni. Would-be conqueror Sedessa leads those Norn that believe in its own racial superiority and try to take land away from the Lochni. The parents of Delgo, a Lochni, are killed in the resulting conflict. Norren King Zahn is horrified by the war and admonishes Sedessa, who then poisons the queen and almost kills Zahn, who catches her, as well. She's subsequently banished and her wings are clipped off. Immediately, you might notice the fact that this reads like a chapter of Leviticus. You guys are supposed to be entertaining the masses, not instructing the 12 tribes of Israel. We already have an MLA paragraph's worth of lore that's explained to us the geopolitical tensions on this planet, but we still haven't figured out what Delgo's doing in a movie called fucking Delgo. So, you wanna know what Delgo's doing? Delgo, meanwhile, is raised by Elder Marley, who teaches him how to use the power of magical stone. Right off the bat, we've got magical stones and themes of racial superiority. Truly, two of the most time-weathered tropes in American computer-animated adventure science fiction romantic comedy movies. If I wanted to watch a movie about magic rocks and racism, I would have just sat down for a nice viewing of Indiana Jones and the Temple of the White Savior, not this garbage.
Come on. Make a green gemstone. Oh, no. What does this mean?
What does that mean?
Don't fate the
black
orange one was.
Now, when I first watched this movie, I had absolutely no idea what was going on, but while writing this script, I realized that the plot's incomprehensibility may have had something to do with my questionable previewing habits.
This guy's a beer head.
The word is alcoholic.
So I figured I'd give it another watch from a more cohesive state of mind. Yeah, this still makes no sense. If you thought the plot was confusing, wait until you hear about the movie's production itself. As I mentioned before, this movie took almost a decade to make. They started working on it in 1999 and wouldn't finish until 2008. At first I figured, maybe it was like an on-again, off-again project they had on the back burner that they do between other projects, kinda like WALL-E was or whatever. But no, it wasn't. The Fathom Studios link on the Wikipedia page literally just redirects you to the Delgo Wikipedia page. Delgo was the only movie they ever made. So, what about the rest of the team? The writers, producers, director, what other projects had they done? Well, it turns out that they were all Mark Adler and had one other movie credited to their name. The fucking animated short they show before Delgo. Oh my god. According to IMDb, both companies that worked on Delgo only ever made one movie, and I'm guessing you know which one that is. These guys were literally around for 10 years, spent the entire time working on one movie, squirted it out, and then disappeared from the face of the earth. At this point, I wouldn't be surprised to find out that Delgo is just one big money laundering scheme for a meth kingpin with a scaly fetish. Except, there's one massive hole in that theory. The people behind this movie actually thought it was gonna be good. Delgo just kind of feels like another one of those generic fantasy animated movies that Hollywood was pumping out at the time, but with one major difference. Delgo was developed independently. It was gonna be a big break for Fathom Studios, and a surprising amount of passion went into it. The writers said that they wanted to make a movie that addressed the civil unrest that we see in the world today, which is a pretty admirable goal. They didn't achieve that goal, but I mean, shoot for the moon, right? Mark Adler also said that the movie was going to be different from other animated fantasy movies at the time because it wasn't going to be a comedy, which he wasn't wrong about.
What is this guy?
Are you alright?
Oh, this is called comedic side character.
Are you alright?
This is Lizard Caillou.
I mean, the people behind this movie really cared about it and had high hopes for it. The head art director said that the movie would be his Shrek and would also outperform Shrek, and it did not.
It looks like Shrek right now. Like, it looks like the ending of Shrek.
Oh, and they're getting married?
Yeah.
I hope a dragon breaks through the window.
Dude! A lot of the animators were apparently fresh out of college, which explains why the animation can be so janky at times, but considering this was their first job, it almost makes their attempt somewhat admirable. MGM agreed to release the film, and they signed on Academy Award-winning actors, and the movie was starting to look like it was going to be a success until MGM decided that they weren't going to release it. Probably because they recognized that the movie was going to be a stinker, MGM pulled out and forced Delgo to find someone else to release, eventually settling on Freestyle Releasing, who, yes, are the releasers of God's Not Dead, so obviously a very good company.
Whatever I see and I aim at, I shoot. When I shoot it, I kill it. My life and my whole eternity belongs to God.
Here's the thing. I know how YouTube works, all right? On this platform, it pays to be vitriolic and hateful. A video called The Redemption of Marinauts will tank in comparison to a video called The Fall of Marinauts. Viewers just want to find things that they can hate, and I get that, but I just can't bring myself to hate this movie. Like I said, it's not good. It feels like it was directed by the concept artist behind The Phantom Menace, but you just can't deny the fact that the people behind this movie tried. It may not be well made, but the movie is the untainted vision of the director, and it clearly is the product of many years of effort and passion. No matter what you think, there is soul behind this movie, which is honestly hard to come by now. At the end of the day, it seems like the creators of Delgo tried their best to develop a groundbreaking film outside the Hollywood system. They bit off more than they could chew and got screwed over in the process. It almost makes you feel bad for them. Until you find out that the creators had the audacity to accuse Avatar of stealing their ideas. No one would steal from you.
Like,
That was a threatening sky.
bye.
Yeah, like in...
Oh my god.
How do you even do that? How do you lose more money than you put in the first place? I keep saying placed. They bit off more than they could chew. I did it again. I'm sorry. I don't mean to say Jew. I'm really sorry about that.